Do you suffer from debilitating migraines? You know, that throbbing pain in the front or side of your head that's so severe you're unable to work or do anything other than retreat into a dark and quiet room? Have you had them for years and just haven't found a solution? Call Dr. Elizabeth Ebersol and put an end to your debilitating migraines forever. Or go to her website at www.handmadehealth.com. That's www.handmadehealth.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Night Glory Report. I'm Randy Edwards. I'm with Kenny Matthews. You just got us tonight. Everybody's busy, but we got a lot to go over.
Yes, we do.
We're going to start with 5 and 6A. Some of the games we think are some of the games that are important for the playoff race. We're getting late.
Absolutely. It's getting late in district.
And
It
it's
feels
hard to
weird
look at some of these, Kenny, and to tell, like the one we were just talking about, where Wakeland's 3-3, and they've played all their games, and you got teams that are 3-1. Well, with 2 games left, I mean, I can't even look at some of those districts and figure it out. I don't know. I mean, glad that's not my job.
And every district, unfortunately, has a different regiment of how they're going to determine their playoffs. It's nothing unilateral, uniform, procedure here. And, you just informed me about the Colony and Frisco Independence being, perceived as, as a no contest. And I had that as one of the big games here because I thought whoever won that game took a huge step in, securing one of those 4 playoff spots in that district. Because you got 4 teams, I believe, that has 3 district wins in that between Wakeland, Independence, the Colony, and Reedy.
Right.
So, it's huge to take that game off the board for one of those 2 now. Again, I don't know if they're going to go by winning percentage, if they're going to go head-to-head to try to figure out those last playoff spots. But like you said,
that's crazy because Wakeland can be penalized for playing too many games.
Yeah, no kidding. And they had to play Denton Ryan, who was fortunate enough to have the no contest against Denton Ryan earlier in the district.
Oh, I don't know.
So yeah, that's huge.
Well, let's start with one that a couple of them. One we have some interest in up there in 7-5A.
Yes.
Lebanon Trail and Denison, both 3-2 in district.
I got to see both teams. I obviously saw Lebanon Trail on a scrimmage at the beginning of the year, but I got to see Denison play earlier this year against Sherman. Denison seems like they're playing a little bit better now. Lebanon Trail had a big win last week. Coach Jackson's done an excellent job up there at Lebanon Trail. This is just year 3. Obviously, it's a very competitive city, Frisco football, and for them to be able to, the job that they've done. I mean, I'm picking Lebanon Trail to win this game here. I think that they just have another 2-headed monster at running back. I mean, both running backs had great games last week. I think both were over 100 yards. And I think now in playoff time, you see that the team that can run the football does a lot of damage in the playoffs or going into the playoffs. And I think it's also part of the reason is because teams don't have to practice stopping the run that much. Everybody's running the spread and throwing that ball around all the time. I think it catches teams off guard, and by midway through the 3rd and 4th quarter, they get worn down. And I know Coach Jackson up there at Lebanon Trail is definitely going to make sure he keeps running the football.
Well, there's an even bigger game in that district.
Yeah.
Frisco and Lovejoy. Frisco 6-0, Lovejoy 7-0.
That's going to be an excellent game. I believe Channel 8 or Channel 5 was at Lovejoy this morning. I'm doing a little piece on them. I think it was Channel 5. I think Pat Donay does it, and it'll be on the show Saturday. Hey, look at that. I mean, that's a bounce back year for Lovejoy. A couple years back, they were really salty, but they have played some excellent football.
Yeah, they hadn't been 7-0, and
no. and moved into a very competitive district too this year.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean that is a very impressive 7-0. And you know, if we, I was one of the games I thought about doing, but I just said, you know what, I'll probably stick with the playoff games. You know, going since the playoff season has started. But that's going to be a great football game, I think, Randy.
No, I think so too.
And the fighting raccoons again. They were what 10-0 last year, and now here they are undefeated again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's coming off an 0-10 in 2018.
And you remember it had been a while since Frisco had made it to the playoffs, what, around 2015, 2016, and then they've kind of, I mean.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they were just 0-10 in 2018.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's. I mean, you're talking about.
Well, I'm talking about even before that. They had years of losing. Like when they had a few playoff seasons, then they went 0-10. But
yeah, they became the stepchild when the Frisco district started opening up and all the new schools in, and they were getting beat consistently, you know, for a while there. Now that you've run this Veer offense that he brought in 2 years ago, man, it's done wonders for that program. I mean, that's an excellent football team.
Well, a lot of people may not know as much about as like you and I do. W.T. White 4-1, Newman Smith 3-3. Newman Smith has to have it.
Yes, they do.
Or they're out.
They do. I mean, the loss to Molina is really hurting Newman Smith at this point in time right now. They need some help in this district, and if you lose the W.T. White, you have no control. You do not control your fate any longer going forward. They have W.T. White. It still has Lancaster, obviously. I believe they have Woodrow Wilson and Brian Adams, I believe, on the schedule still. But I mean, Newman Smith has to have this game tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
It is a must win if they have any envisions of trying to get that third or fourth playoff spot.
Well, I mean, you got White 4-1, Brian Adams 4-2. You got to beat W.T. White. They're 4-3 on the season, so the same record as Newman Smith. So is Brian Adams, who Smith beat, who's holding down the fourth spot.
Right.
So if they lose one more, Smith's got the the win.
Yep. I mean, Smith has the tiebreaker over Brian Adams. Yes, they do if they were to tie with their win earlier. But they lost to Woodrow Wilson. They obviously lost to Lancaster, and they lost to Molina. You know, Lancaster and Woodrow Wilson, you're probably not going to be finishing first or second in that district anyway. So those are kind of wash losses for them. But if they cannot compound their situation by losing tomorrow night, then you're really hoping for a lot of madness the last two games of the year. And like I said, your fate, you don't not control anymore.
Well, Newman Smith, if they get 4 losses, they're done.
Yeah, I think so too.
We talked about Reedy and Wakeland.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an excellent football game. That quarterback at Wakeland is really, really good.
Well, what about up in 8-5A? North Forney 7-0, 3-0 in district. Ennis 6-0, 3-0 in district.
Yeah, that's going to be a good football game. I mean, Randy Jackson has done an excellent job at North Forney, and he had the biggest surprise of week 1 when they beat Lone Star. That shocked kind of the state of Texas with that win. And I mean, now they have rolled off 6 more wins since that time. And it didn't take long for him to change that. I believe this is his second, or I believe this is his 3rd year there. I believe it's his 3rd season.
It's more like because what's his name? Suits or whatever his name is in Louisiana.
Colby
yeah.
Suits. Because I thought Colby Suits now is a redshirt sophomore at Louisiana.
Or junior, maybe. I mean, sophomore, maybe. I don't know.
He's done an excellent job, and I mean, but here it is. You got North Forney now in a situation where they have not been in a long time, undefeated this late in the season and playing meaningful games. Well, we know Ennis, they've been there and done that.
Yeah, and they got the legend back at
Yep.
head coach.
Yep. So I think, you know, I have a slight, I'm slightly leaning towards Ennis to win this game, even though it's at Jackrabbit Stadium
Right.
on Friday night. But, you know, I think that Randy Jackson's job that he's done there has been, you know, short of phenomenal here to get that program, I mean, competing at a high level in a very quick time.
But